Hey there, everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and we are about to get started with a game 142 of the 1969 Mets game. They are tied for first place with the Pirates here in mid-September of 1969. So we have an exciting pennant race going, and we're right about to get the action started. Let me quickly take a peek at the Montreal Expos are visiting New York, and it's going to be Gary Gentry versus Jerry Robertson. Jerry Robertson was 5-16 with a 3.96 ERA, and Gary Gentry was 13-12 with a 3.43 ERA. So let's see what happens here. The Mets just took a Sunday. I believe this is a Monday game. The Mets just took a Sunday doubleheader from the Expos. Let's quickly go back and take a look at what that was. Oh no, it was a Wednesday doubleheader. It seems. Let me double check. Yep, it was a Wednesday doubleheader, and the Mets won the first game 6-1. It was McAndrew 9-7, Wedgner 11-9, and then it was the Mets 6-3 in the second game. Ron Taylor 6-6, and Shea 1-1. In the first game, it was Shamsky hit his 18th, and in the second game, Shamsky hit his 19th. So the MVP in the first game was Jim McAndrew, and then the MVP in the second game was Art Shamsky. The Pirates got shut out by the Cardinals. The Pirates split. It was a doubleheader for the Pirates as well against the Cardinals. In the first game, the Pirates beat the Cardinals and 5-2, and in the second game, they lost to the Cardinals 5-0. The Mets picked up half a game, and they are tied for first place. Let's get this game underway. You can see that I have let me see. Is this I believe it's the 14th, or is it Tuesday? Let's see. New York and Montreal. Jim Andrew. It's Thursday, September 11th. Wow, 1969. Look at that. I guess that's what, 32 years, 33 years before the actual September 11th? Or 32 years? There it is. And let's get started. Let me go over the lineups. As you see, I have my 1970 collection of the Mets Topps baseball cards. It cost me a pretty penny. I actually have the Mets team that I bought separately from the whole season, which I purchased. And I'm not really a collector. I have a little bit, one thing of this, one thing of that. I don't like to hoard. I'm very much against hoarding. I'm always throwing stuff out. Anytime I see something, hey, I'm not going to use this. I don't need this. Have an old microwave in my shed. I'm going to get rid of that. And the bikes that I do have, I actually have 2 bicycles out, and I have 1/3 one in the shed, and I'm going to pull that out and get it fixed and use it, because it's a very nice bicycle. I've had it for, I think, 20 years now, and I still use it. So I don't want to get rid of it, because I've had it for a long time, and I use those bikes. 1 week I'll use one week I'll use another, and so forth. But I definitely don't like collecting stuff and hoarding stuff and any of that. All right, so the lineup for the Montreal Expos, it's going to be Ty Klein leading it off. He's in center field, followed by Gary Sutherland, the second baseman. It's Rusty Staub batting third. Batting cleanup is Ron Fairley. Batting fifth is Mac Jones. He's in left field. Batting sixth is Coco LeBoy, the third baseman. Batting seventh is the catcher, Jason Bateman. And I think it's Jason, is it not? Or is that the modern actor that's named Jason? John Bateman. I think it's the actor's name, Jason. Bobby Wine, the shortstop, batting eighth, and batting ninth is Robertson. And we're looking at Gary Gentry, the starter for the Mets. And there's Gil Hodges, the skipper, 1969. Let's get started. We will use some dice in this game. Let's get started with that. Everything else is in place. Ty Klein versus Gary Gentry. Let's go Mets. See what happens. And that's my picture there. I got that my picture on a stand just to give it a different angle. And let's get the crowd into it. It's a little bit. I hate when it's quiet. It doesn't seem like a baseball game to me when it's very quiet in the background. So let's wait for that to happen. And here's the pitch to, what is this? Oh, Shea Stadium. Need that turned around. That's good. All right. All right, that's going to be an 8 and an 07 off Gentry. It's a patient 07 against a righty. It's a base on ball. So Ty Klein trots down to first base. And on that 8, he won't be running. He needs a 4 to run. Next is Gary Sutherland. Now he's a good player to hit and run with because he doesn't strike out very much. So we're going to try a hit and run. And that's a 4 patient. A patient 59, and that takes us to a ground ball to the second baseman. There's going to be only one play, and that's the first because Klein was on the move. So good play. Otherwise, it would have been a double play. So good managing, Rusty style. And that's a 775, and that's an in-play 75. To Legrand Orange, and that's a fly ball. Drives it deep to left center field. On the run is Agee, and he tracks it down. Tommy Agee in center. Cleon Jones in left, and Ron Swoboda in right field for the Mets. Ron Fairley's up now with a runner in scoring position. 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Gentry. That's a 5. That's a tough out. It's just what the doctor ordered for Gentry. And that's a high fly to right field. Ronnie Swoboda drifts under it, puts it away, and that retires the side. Here comes Tommy Agee, steps in the box against Jerry Robertson, a right-hander. That's a 9er 26. And it's in play 26, and it's going to be a little ground ball up the middle and through, past Wine into center field, played by Klein. Throws it in. So... And on a 9, there won't be a stolen base. Now we're looking at Robertson. And that's a 775, a tough 75 against Wayne Garrett, the left-hander. And a 75 is a fly ball, shallow center field. 1 down. Next is Cleon Jones. Try to hit and run, get it. And that's an 8-0. That's going to be a rare play. And let's see where that is. I got my 3 charts. Here's a rare play. There, throw 2d6. It's an 11. Bases. Runner on base, 11. Roll 2d6 again. And that's a 10. And that's going to be a hard ground to the third base. Okay. So A or B range third baseman, Coco LeBoy is at third base. I don't think that he's an A or B range. He's actually a D range, so not very good. And he's going to get the force out at second base. Okay, so I'm going to throw to second base for a fielder's choice. It's not super clear what goes on there. It's really intended for a third baseman to step on the bag at third and then throw to second for a force. But there's no runner on second base, so that's not going to happen. So then what's left is basically looking at the 2d6 and seeing if it's a fielder's choice, and I'll say it's a fielder's choice 5-4. I would give him a double play if he was an A or a B, because here it says second base with an A or B range is a triple play. So he just goes to second for the force, basically. Keep it simple, move on. All right. Hold on, gotta fix that. So it's a ball that's chopped to the third baseman, and AG was on the run. So you know what? We're going to make the throw to first base since he was on the run. It was a hit and run. Art Shamsky. And that's a 668. That's going to be a patient 68 against a right-hander. Is chopped to the shortstop. And AG is going to hold up. I usually play that a 7 or 8 goes to third on this. And I'm finding that too many players are 7s. Oh, but he's an 8, so he would definitely go. Maybe I'll make it an 8. I don't know. It happens, but it only happens to third base. It happens 20% of the time to shortstop. It happens 40% of the time that the runner on second will go to third. Oh, but that was the third out, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, it was a single, a fly out, a ground out, and then a fly out again. All right, Gentry to Mac Jones. Here's the pitch. That's an 11 and a 97, a defense 97, and that will be what? That will be a range play to third base, and that's great diving stop by Garrett. Back on his feet, fires to first, and just gets Mac Jones by half a step. Great play by third baseman Wayne Garrett. That's a Niners 0-6. A Niners a ballpark 0-6 here at Shea Stadium. This is going to take us to a wheelhouse. Wheelhouse versus right-handed pitchers 1-30, 1-37. So here's the pitch from Gentry, and that's a deep drive to left field. Back goes Jones to the track and makes the catch. So Coco LaBoy gave it a ride into left field, but it's out number 2. John Bateman, right-handed hitting catcher. He's batting .213. In reality, he batted, it looks like about .230. That's a Niner 21, and that's a ballpark 21 is again a deep drive, and this is 1-44. So Bateman may get a hold of this wheelhouse pitch. Let's see if he does, and he will line it to left center field for a base hit. So he strokes one, a rope to left center field, and Bateman is on base with 2 outs. Bobby Wine, here goes. That's a 4 patient, a patient 31. And that is a ground ball through the left side, and Bateman will, let's see what he does. Say, Bateman will stop at second base. First and second, 2 outs, and here's the pitcher, Jerry Robertson. Not a very good pitcher hitting card. And that's a 759. So this ball is in play. And a 59 is going to be a roller to the second baseman, Boswell, who flips to Harrelson, and that retires the side. Go to the bottom of the second, no score. Mets are tied with the Pirates for first place here in mid-September. So this is and they're meeting up, I believe, this weekend. They're going to meet up in a 4-game set. That's going to be exciting. I believe it's a 4-game set. Let me double check that. Let me just save and get out of this game. Using PC Replay Baseball to kind of sim the season. So Friday, let's see who the Mets play on Friday. The Mets play Pittsburgh. So they do have at least a 3-game set, and I'm wondering if it's a 4-game set. It's a 3-game set, and then Monday. Do they play them again on Monday? I don't know. Or on Tuesday? No. So they play them on Monday. They play them on Sunday. They play them on Saturday, and they play them on Friday. So it is a 4-game set. It is a 4-game set. No, it's a 3-game set. Excuse me. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that's a huge series, and you're going to want to watch that. So this is basically a setup for that particular series. And I'm trying to track down where I was. Let's see. There it is. Right, September 11th, Thursday, September 11th. All right, we're in the bottom of the second inning. Kenny Boswell, I believe, is up, and he is. He's a left-handed hitter against Jerry Robertson. That's an 8 and a 43, and this is going to be a ball that's in play. And that's to the first baseman, Fairley, who takes it himself and beats Boswell to the bag. 3 unassisted if you're scoring at home. Ronnie Swoboda. Ronnie Swoboda, right-handed hitter, known for the catch in the 1969 World Series. Here's a pitch from Jerry Robertson, again an 8 that's in play, a 65. And that is grounded to the second baseman, Sutherland. He scoops it, sidearms it to first. Duffy Dyer. And Duffy Dyer on the season replay is batting .380 and 71 at-bats. So he's done nothing but get hits in this replay. Patient, 26. And that is a line drive base hit center field, played on a hop by Ty Klein. And Duffy Dyer continues his torrid hitting, batting .380 and 71 at-bats. In reality, he batted .255. So you always have these outlier guys that just do more than, right? So it's a patient 26, and on Duffy Dyer's card, it's a base hit. Yes, sir. So he's on with a single, and it's Buddy Harrelson now. Here's a pitch. It's a 7-11. 7-11. And that is a tough pitch. What can he do with it? Not very much. He swings and misses through the fastball, and that retires the side. Go to top of the third, no score. Ty Klein leading it off. And that's a 7-37. That's a plain. A 7-37 is in play, and 37 was popped up infield. Harrelson and Boswell converge in shallow center. And here comes Agee, but Harrelson takes it for out number 1. Gary Sutherland is next. He's a right-handed batter. Gary Sutherland batting .273 and almost 500 at-bats. We're towards the end of the season here in this split replay. That's a 7.96. That's an in play, and that's a fly ball left field. Cleon Jones, the ball is hooking away from him, and he runs it down near the foul line in left field. That's 2 down. And it's Rusty Staub. That's a tough out, 93. Fly ball right field. Right there, Swoboda makes the catch, and that retires the side. Go to the bottom of the third, no score. I did a whole day of presentations today at the work. I shouldn't be talking tonight. My throat hurts. All right, let's see. So Gary Gentry's leading it off. Here's a pitch from Jerry Robertson. That's a snake eyes. That's a tough 29 is a strikeout. Swings through it. And Gentry heads back to the dugout. 1 out, and it's Tommy Agee. Agee batting .295 on the season with 19 home runs, 11 stolen bases. That's a 6. And an 11, a patient 11 is ball 4. So Agee gets the first base with a base on balls. And Wayne Garrett is next. That's a 9-0-5, and that's in play, 0-5, and that's going to be ripped down the line into the right field corner. Staub after it, and it kind of bounds away from him. Agee's going to come in to score. Garrett is going to try for third. Here's the throw to third from Sutherland, and he is safe at third base with a 1-out RBI triple. Wayne Garrett on what is a 9 in play, 0-5. And that is a triple on Wayne Garrett's card. Yes, sir. Hit 3 triples, 1 against lefties and 2 against righties. Cleon Jones. The infield is in for the Montreal Expos. The Mets lead at 1-0. That's a 6 and an 89. It's going to be a patient. And a patient on Cleon Jones, 89, is a ground ball to the shortstop. All right, 89 is going to be actually a line drive. A line drive to the shortstop. And now Shamsky with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Left-handed batter. Shamsky's batting .293 with 19 home runs. And that's a 5 patient, a patient 94. And that's lifted to right field. Rusty Staub over. Squeeze it for the out, and that retires the side. Mets pick up 1. Top of the 4th. Ron Fairley. 1-0 Mets. Gentry on the mound looks in for the sign. Dyer behind the plate, giving Grody a break. That's a 7 in play. A 29, and that is line base hit to right center field. Swoboda cuts it off. So Ron Fairley strokes one to right center field. Mac Jones. And that's a Niner ballpark. Ballpark 36. Ballpark 36. He's a righty. He's going to be in play. And an in play 44 off Mac Jones. And that is Rip to the first baseman. He may get 2 on this. And there's no chance you're going to get 1. Fairley goes in hard, breaks it up old school style. So that's a 3-6 fielder's choice. Mac Jones is on at first base. Coco LeBoy. Here's a pitch, and that is a 8-98. A patient 98, and that's lifted to center. And left center field, and Jones takes it. 2 outs. John Bateman. He got a hit earlier in the game, and that's an 8. It's a patient 75. And that is a fly ball. Agee, a few steps back in center. Makes the catch, and that retires the side. Jerry Robertson against Kenny Boswell, bottom of the 4th. That's a 6 and a 17. A patient 17. That's ball 4. And we're going to try. No hit and runs with Swoboda. He strikes out way too often. That's a 31. And there's no wild pitch on that. It's an 8-31. It's in play 31, and that is a line drive caught by the shortstop. Bobby Wine went up for it. Hit on the screws, but timed perfectly. That's a line out to the shortstop. Next is Duffy Dyer. That's a 43. Duffy Dyer's batting 389 now in 72 at bats. Hilarious. That's a 7. That's going to be a tough 43. That's a strikeout. So the curveball gets Dyer. Flails after that curveball that fell off the table. And it's an 11. 11 is a tough 41. Buddy House and switch hitting. He's batting from the left side. And that is a tough 41. And that's a ground ball and through into right field. So Staub is going to play it, gets it into Sutherland and Buddy House and picks up a base hit. Here comes Gary Gentry. That's a 638. That's a patient. He's a 3 pitcher batting card. And a 38 is a pop-up infield. Wine under it. Makes the catch that retires the side. We go to top of the 5th. Let's take a quick look at the score. I got a little toy scoreboard. And my family saw it, and they were like, oh, I love that. They loved it. They thought it was hilarious. I guess they got a kick out of it, right? So the home team is up 1-0 here. Every so often I'll stop and play with this. You can pick these up on eBay. It comes in a play set, a baseball player play set. So if you search that on eBay, I found one where the players were separate. Then it didn't come in a box. In other words, the guy, I guess, had gotten rid of the box or used it for something else. And he had the scoreboard. I like to change. I like to take off this stuff that says baseball guys and turn it into like something else. And I'm going to do that. But anyway, I just emailed the guy, and he was selling the whole thing for like $10. but he wanted $10 shipping. So I said, hey, will you sell me just the scoreboard for $10 and just $3 shipping? And he was like, okay. So I saved like $7, $13 for that. And that shows you have expendable income, right? All right, so we are in the top of the fifth. It's Gentry against Bobby Wine. The score is 1-0. Here's the pitch from Gentry. And that is a 6, a tough 81, and that's grounded to the shortstop, Harrelson. Harrelson to his left, scoops it, throws on the run, and in the dirt, but scooped out by the first baseman, Shamsky. My dog is trying to communicate something. I'm not totally sure what he wants. He wants something. I think he wants me to open the door for him. Let's go check it. Go. That's exactly what he wanted. When he acts that way, he wants something. All right, the pitcher. This pitcher in particular can go 8 innings, and so can Gentry. So we're going to push them to the limit. This is 1969. Here's the pitch. Ooh, snake eyes. It's a tough 75, and that is a strikeout. Swing and a miss by Jerry Robertson, the pitcher. 2 outs. Gary Gentry pitching a 3-hitter for the Mets. It's a 1-0 game. New York ahead. The Mets are tied with the Pirates for first place in our replay. Gary Gentry against Ty Klein. Ty Klein bats from the left side. It's a ball that's in play, 45, and that is grounded to the third baseman, Garrett. He backhands it. Long throw to first. Ty, nice stretch by Shamsky. Those long throws from third base to first base can be a challenge. It's hard to get them right on the money all the time. It's going to be Agee leading off, followed by Garrett and then Jones. Here's the pitch from Robertson. That's an 874. That's in play. 74 is a fly ball, and that's driven. Backing up towards the warning track is Klein. 1 down. Ty Klein in center, Mac Jones in left, and Rusty Legrand Orange Staub, the future Met, in right field tonight. That's a 3. That's defense. A 26. Oh, that's going to be something for sure. And we're looking at an error third base, almost guaranteed that's an error third base. Question is, will it be a 2-base error or a 1-base error? He's a 3, and that is a 1-44. We rolled a 29, so it's a 1 or 2-base error, and it says 1-base error. So he bobbles it, drops the ball, and Garrett is safe at first. A 1-out error that puts a runner at first for the Mets, and the Mets could use an insurance run here. We're going to try to run with that 3, and we're going to try to steal. There he goes, and he is safe. That 3 gives us the jump, and there he goes. So whenever I see that jump, I try to steal. Whenever I see those low numbers, I have a sense of that it's probably a good jump. So Wayne Garrett takes off. He did have 4 stolen bases, and let me quickly take a. You know what? I don't know if he'll show me his card. Oh wait. No, it does. There must be a way to see his card. I'm not sure how to do it yet. I could just back up, so it'll be an E5. So let me just back up one and see. Garrett has 2 stolen bases. This will be his 3rd stolen base of the season. In reality, he had 4, so it's right on the money. And he's going to take second base. The throw down from Bateman, not in time. Throw was a little bit offline. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position. And here is their biggest clutch hitter, Cleon Jones, batting .321 with 6 home runs, 15 stolen bases. And they are going to intentionally walk Cleon Jones in this situation with 1 out. Rather pitch to Shamsky, although Shamsky's been on fire lately. Here's a pitch from Jerry Robertson. There's some action in the bullpen for the Montreal Expos. That's an 11. That's a tough 0-3 is a strikeout. So Art Shamsky goes down on strikes in a big situation. And now it's Kenny Boswell. And that is a 10. That's another tough. A 93 is lifted. to right field. Rusty Staub in right center field squeezes it for the out, and that retires the side. The Mets threatened but failed to capitalize. Gary Gentry against Gary Sutherland, the battle of the Garys. Hey there, guys. RJ Elder's in the house. Check out his channel, Bears Den. How are you, brother? I'm sorry, I get into the game, and I don't want to play for people to come. It's great when people do come, but I don't really worry about that. I just kind of want to share and enjoy myself and kind of the excitement and be part of the community. So anyway, welcome to all. Check out the channels there for the guys here. And this is a great game. It's 1-0 here in the top of the 6th inning. And it's Gary Gentry versus Jerry Robertson. Probably not the major aces of 1969, but they're pitching a heck of a ball game so far. So far, so good. All right, so Gary Sutherland, he's a right-handed batter. Gary Sutherland is 25 years old. And I know with APA, it gives you their hometown, it gives you their height, their weight. And that I always thought was a cool aspect of APA. It makes the cards like more realistic. That's a 6, and that's a tough 10 is a swing and a miss. Sutherland strikes out for the first out of the inning. Next is Rusty Staub. And that is a 486. That's a patient 86. And wow, on Staub's card, it goes to 81, where it's still an on-base opportunity. But an 86 is going to be a ground ball to the second baseman, Kenny Boswell. Scoops it and throws the first, 2 outs. And here's Ron Fairley, another left-handed hitter. And that is a 405, and that's a patient. That's ball 4. Fairley trots on down to first base on a 2-out walk. So Gentry loses him after he had him 0-2, 4 straight balls, and Gentry's not happy out there. So Dyer's going to take a quick visit to the mound. And here we are in the top of the 6th. We got our RJL scoreboard. It shouldn't say baseball, guys. It should say RJL. I got to take that off. I want to put like something else on there. That annoys me. I don't know why it annoys me. Mets are up 1-0 in the 6th inning. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It's just a fun little novelty item to have on your board. It's beautiful. My family was saying, "Oh, that's cool." They really liked it. They thought it was hilarious. All right, and I tell them it's a real big league ballpark. It needs a scoreboard. All right, 8 and a 27. That 8 is going to be a patient. 27 is going to be ball 4. So back-to-back walks here in the top of the 6th with 2 outs. Not what Gil Hodges wants to see in a game that the Mets need, because the Mets are tied with the Pirates for first place here in September. I believe this is September 11th, 1969. And the next 3 games are going to be with the Pirates. I probably will stream all those 3 games. So it's Coco LeBoy now. And Gil Hodges is going to come out and talk to Gentry. Hodges really wants Gentry to get LeBoy. This is a great chance for the Expos to tie up this game. They have a runner at second in Ron Fairley. Ron Fairley, not a speedster, but scored enough runs to be considered a 6. Really, it's not about speed. The run rating is not so much about speed, but about the ability to score runs, which is fair. I agree with that. That's fine, because you want to reproduce the true runs scored. Now, when I had my 79 replay, I had 880 runs scored. In reality, there was 880. In my game, there was 800. So that was about 80 less, but that had a lot to do with me, in that I didn't do a lot of base stealing. I didn't do a lot of hit and runs, and I didn't do tag ups because I hadn't implemented my tag up system. So I figured that all those little things would have added about 80 runs during the course of the season. And plus, I left my pitchers in, my starting pitchers, I left them in too long. If they had given up 3 or more runs, I failed to bring in a fatigue pitcher card. That also had an effect. So there are things that I could have done to kind of made that a closer, a more real, more accurate result. All right, so here goes Coco LeBoy, Gary Gentry, runners on first and second. 2 outs, top of the 6th. 1-0 Mets. Question is, can Gentry get LeBoy? All right, that's a 4 again, and an 83 again is a patient. I think we rolled 3 4s in a row, but this one's going to be an 83, and it's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, Harrelson, who is going to flip to Boswell for the force, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. So the Expos, they threaten, they leave 2, score none, and at the end of 5.5, it is 1-0 Amazons. In the bottom of the 6th, Jerry Robertson against Ron Swoboda. Ron Swoboda's batting .219 with 6 home runs. That's a 769er. 7 is a tough 69, is going to be a strikeout. So Ron Swoboda swings through a fastball, and that brings up Duffy Dyer. Duffy Dyer batting .384 and 71 at bats. He's one of those anomalies that if he had 84 at bats, and I'm already at 73 at bats. He's only got about 15 games left in the whole season. So he batted .255. He's going to end up with a much better average unless he does nothing more than even if he made the next 10 outs, actually the next 14 outs, no, 12 outs, he still would have a much better average. Just every time he plays, I just roll right for him. That's the nature of the beast, man. It's the dice. A tough 84. There's going to be an out here. And that's chopped to the shortstop, who Bobby Wine waits back, now charges, and fires to first. Plenty of time to get the slowpoke Duffy Dyer. And that's an 829er. That's an in-play 29 on Buddy Housen, and that's line base hit. So Harrelson strokes one to right center field, and it's cut off by Klein. So Buddy is on at first. 2-out single. That is hit number 5 for the Mets. All right. Gary Gentry, we're going to let him bat here in the bottom of the 6th. I'm not going to move him. 10. A 10.92. And that is a tough strikeout. And that is the 3rd out. Mets leave 1, score none. And we go to top of the 7th. John Bateman versus Gary Gentry. There's some action in the bullpen. It's the lefty McGraw and the righty Taylor. And that's a 10.65 off Gentry. That's a tough 65, and that's grounded to the second baseman. Boswell scoops it over to first, 1 away. Bobby Wine is next. And that's a 7.19. A 7 is in play. 19 is base hit. Off the bat of Wine, strokes one to left field, played on a hop by Cleon Jones in left. And with that S7, it won't be a stolen base. We're going to bunt here. Robertson's going to bunt. Let's see. Robertson's card is a 2-12, so it's an automatic bunt. I'm just pulling a card. What kind of bunter is he? He is actually a C bunter. And a C is a successful sacrifice. Back to the pitcher. Gentry, only one play, goes to first. Second baseman's covering that. And there's a runner in the time runners in scoring position now for Ty Klein. Ty Klein bats from the left side, batting 179 on the season. But they were starting him. Now, in reality, he batted about 200. Maybe 214. Not a very good hitter. Ty Klein. See what happens. And that's an 11 and a 76. That's a defense. 76 is going to be above and beyond. So that is going to be a line drive and caught by Shamsky at first base to retire the side. Shamsky in the right place at the right time to take that line drive away off the bat of Ty Klein, who pulled it. Excuse me, and Tommy Agee is going to lead it off against Jerry Robertson. Here's the pitch. Bottom of the 7th, 1-0 Mets. That's a 6-0-5. That's a patient 0-5 is ball 4. Let's check the box score. See how many walks he's got already. He's got 4 walks. You know what? I've had enough of Jerry Robertson. Good thing about playing with an AI is it tells you who's available. It sims everything for you, gives you the stats, and it tells you who's available in the bullpen. In other words, who can pitch, who can't pitch, who's on the roster, who isn't on the roster. It is September, so I have a lot of pitchers on the roster. Wayne Garrett is a lefty. Then I'm going to have a righty coming up. And then another lefty. So I am going to bring in a lefty, and the Mets will probably bring in some. I'm going to bring in Larry Jaster. That's going to be, you're probably going to see a couple. And the manager, Gene Mauch, came out and said, enough is enough. All right, so Jaster's in there against Wayne Garrett. I'm going to let Garrett batted 29 at bats versus lefties. You know what? I'd like to bring in Ed Charles, who I don't see very often, I don't use very often. And I'd like to get him in the game. It'd be nice to do that. So here comes Charles as a pinch hitter, and then he's going to take over at third base. I believe that Garrett is at third base and not at second base. I think it's Boswell at second base, but let me double check that. Garrett is at third base. Okay, so yeah, perfect. All right, so in comes Ed Charles. He's a veteran. He will be retiring after this season. Okay. And here goes. Ed Charles versus Jaster. And that's a 653. A 6 is ballpark. A 53 is going to be above and beyond. That's going to take us to in play 70, and against a lefty. And that is a fly ball center field. So that's stroked on a line, but Klein is right there. Makes the catch chest high. One out. Wayne Garrett. Oh, no, not Wayne Garrett. Next is Cleon Jones. And you know what? We're going to mess around a little bit. And who do I have coming after this? Art Shamsky and Kenny Boswell. Two more lefties. I'm going to face Cleon Jones with one out. I'm going to try a hit and run. There he goes. That's an 11. That's a patient 85. For that, we got to go to the hit and run chart. Now, Jones is a guy who doesn't strike out very much, so that's why I use him for my hit and runs. I do no more than 2 hit and runs per game. That's usually an old APA rule. I don't like to overuse it because it messes up the stats. So let's see where we can find the hit and run. There it is, hit and run. And what did we say that was? It was a patient 85, and that's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. And he's going to have one play. So Wine over to first to Fairley, and it was a successful hit and run because it moved Agee over to second. He's now in scoring position. So a single here off the bat of Art Shamsky, and they're going to walk Shamsky. They feel that pitching to Boswell, but then you're probably going to see a pinch hitter. Now Shamsky is batting .291 with 19 home runs and has been on fire and fuego lately. So they're going to intentionally walk Shamsky to pitch to Boswell. And who is my other second baseman? At the top of my head. I think we're going to have to face, I don't know that I have another second baseman. You know what? Al Weiss can play second base. So we could do that. So let me bring up the big boomer. The Mets have a boomer, believe it or not, and his name is Don Clendenon. Bring in Don Clendenon, and then we're going to put Weiss, kind of like a utility guy who plays every position. So here comes Clendenon. So Kenny Boswell's getting called back to the dugout, and here comes Don Clendenon. He was picked up from the Montreal Expos earlier in the season on June 15th, came over to the Mets, and since joining the Mets, had a good season. That hit 9 home runs so far for the Mets. I think he had a couple for the Expos. So we're in the bottom of the 7th, runners on first and second. Don Clendenin steps in the box. Jaster checks the sign with Bateman, sets and deals. Here's the pitch, and that is a 642. 6 is ballpark, 42 is going to be in play. And that's where I rolled the wrong one. In play, 51 against a lefty. And that is ripped to the third baseman, LeBoy, who's going to step on the bag at third for the third out. So that's going to be a 5 unassisted. So Don Clendenin hit it hard, but not hard enough. And it's going to be, we're going to have a couple of defensive changes. It's going to be Ed Charles at third base. And it's going to be Weiss at second base. So all that managing for nothing, top of the 8th. And this is where Gary Gentry is still his card, still using his card because he's only given up 1 run. He only had 6 complete games. Doesn't show me how many games he's completed in the replay. It does somewhere. I just don't know where it does. He still has, actually, he has 5 more starts. He's started 30 games, has a 3.60 ERA. In reality, he had a 3.43 ERA. But remember, in this case, it's payoff pitch. But in other cases, it's going to be the sim engine of replay baseball. It's still very, very realistic. Gary Gentry with just very close, 17 points away from his actual ERA. He's going to be facing Gary Sutherland, the battle of the Garys. Here goes again. That's a 7 and a 13. That's in play 13. Base hit. Gary Sutherland lines it. Frozen rope to left center field, cut off by Jones. Throws it in. And that, my friends, is going to probably be it. We got a lefty coming up. And that's going to be it for Gentry. We're going to get, I just noticed that my pitchers are tired. I have a bunch of tired pitchers. McGraw, Taylor, and Ryan are all tired because I've been using them lately simply because of, the pennant race, the fact that we're tied with the Pirates. So I got DeLauro in there from the left side. And I think he's going to come in and he's going to make all the difference today. So DeLauro, there's only 2 innings left in the game. Jack DeLauro, who had a 2.40 ERA, is going to come in a huge game. Let's see what he can do against Rusty Staub, runner on first base. We could try hit and run with Rusty. And that's a 6 and an 85. That's a tough 85. That's grounded to the second baseman. Only 1 play, and that's the first. So the tying run moves over to second base now. Here comes Ron Fairley. Ron Fairley bats from the left side. In the replay, he's batting 260. In reality, he batted about 270, 275. There he goes. Oh, snake eyes. And that is wheelhouse off DeLauro, but it's a 96. Oh, the Mets got big-time lucky because Ron Fairley versus a lefty is 1-59 home run. So we got really lucky. A 96 against a lefty is a fly ball deep right field. And this is going to allow Sutherland to advance to third base. So that puts the tying run on third base now. And it's Mac Jones. Now, as long as Sutherland isn't a 5, he can advance on that. I mean, I don't think he's a 5. I believe he's an infielder, so he's probably a 6 at least. He is a 7, so he definitely advances on that. That's kind of automatic advance wheelhouse. Whenever that doesn't happen very often, maybe once every 10 games, if that often. That you got a guy in a situation that could kind of advance like that. Nothing comes of it generally. It doesn't make a big difference at all. All right, so Mac Jones, he again is another lefty. And let's see who we have as a righty. To pinch hit, we got a guy named Bob Bailey. And let's see if Bob Bailey hits from the Don't like to look. I don't like to look at how good they were because that's kind of having a crystal ball, and just kind of use the guys that they most often use. That's what I like to do. So Bob Bailey was had 350 at bats. He's a guy they do use very often. And he does play left field, and he's not too bad in left field. He kind of holds his own out there. All right. So here comes a righty, Bailey. It's a pinch hit. And Mets are definitely not going to walk him. They are going to let DeLauro, the lefty, face Bailey, the righty. See what happens. Hits lefties at a 262 clip, righties at a 268 clip. 2 outs, top of the 8th, 1-0. Expos have Sutherland at third base with a tying run. Here's a pitch. And that is a niner, 0-0 with a runner on base. Is going to take us to the odd play chart, the rare play chart. And a 9 says pitcher develops minor injury, must be removed. I'm going to start using injuries just to change it up. Starting pitcher must. Okay, I changed this to a number 7. Change this to a number 7. Reroll 2d10 and check ballpark. If result is within wheelhouse. Oh no, 7 defense. No. 7 is up here. Base is empty. Defense. Reroll all dice and refer to the defensive chart. Player with an A range 5E rating makes highlight reel catch. Otherwise, a single. If it's a range or let's see. Hold on. Okay, so there's no A ranges on the Mets, first of all. So that's something that's out. Otherwise, it's a single range or a 1 base error. So the tying run is going to come in on this rare play. I believe. So it says re-roll all dice and refer to the defensive chart. It's either a highlight reel catch or it's a... So I have none of these guys, so I don't have to roll looking for these guys. I don't have anybody that's a 5E, which is kind of top of the line, right? Top of the line. Don't have anybody like that on the Mets. So it's going to be a single if it's a range and a 1 base error. And I'll pull a card to see. Let's find out who it's to. It's going to be to the third baseman. And it's going to be a range play. So that's going to be a ball that is passed, pulled down the line, past the diving Charles, and the game is tied. So Bailey with a pinch hit single, and now it's Coco LeBoy. 1-1, Bailey's on at first base, 2 outs, top of the 8th. And that's a niner, DeLauro, an in-play 64. And that is grounded to the second baseman. Weiss flips to Harrelson, and that retires the side. But the Expos tie it up. It's all tied at 1. Mets need this game. Mets need this game to go to the bottom of the 8th. 1-1. Mets are tied with Pittsburgh. I didn't check to see. Let me check to see if Pittsburgh won or lost. I think the Mets actually play the first game of the day. So Pittsburgh hasn't played yet. All right, let's see what happens. Ronnie Swoboda is leading it off against Larry Jaster. That's an 11-20, patient 20. It is ball 4. So the Mets have the go-ahead run on base. And that's not going to be a stolen base attempt. Buddy, here comes Duffy Dyer. No hit and run with Duffy. Strikes out way too often. Here's a pitch. And I've already done 2 for each team, so I'm not doing any more of those. It's a wheelhouse. A wheelhouse 55 versus left-handed pitcher, and that's going to be stroked into left center field. And that, my friends, is going to be a base hit. And let's see. That's going to move. That's going to move. Who was on first? Swoboda to third base. So Bailey plays it on a hop, gets it in, and Swoboda hustles over to third base. That ball was pulled down the line, cut off by Bailey, and gets it in quickly to Wine to keep Dyer at first base. Dyer, not much speed. We're going to leave him on the bases. He's only a 4. You know what? Considering that we're tied here in late September, I'm going to bring in a pinch hitter. And then I'll bring in J.C. Martin to do the catching duties. A pinch runner, excuse me. Pinch runner is going to be Rod Gasper. Let's see if he's available to pinch run. Oh, you know who I have? Amos Otis. Amos Otis is going to come into pinch run. And he is a 7 base running speed, much better than a 4. All right, so Buddy House and switch hitter. And Buddy, he is a B bunter, but he doesn't bunt very often. So probably won't bunt. If it's an 11, I'll bunt with him, but I doubt it's going to be. I'm going to roll an 11. Just didn't bunt very often. So I'm going to let him swing away. Infield is in. And that's an 11, patient, off Jaster's card. Buddy House is batting from the right side. So that is a patient 73. And that is going to be a fly ball center field. And Ty Klein is out there in center field. Let's see if it's a deep fly. Actually, the patient rules override the cards. And the patient, I can try to score him. So Klein, let's see what Klein, we're going to have a play at the plate. We're going to have a sacrifice fly attempt. Play at the plate. Ty Klein is a 5-arm. So he's a 5-arm in center field. And Swoboda, I believe, is a 6 or a 7 running. And I'm going to pull a card for this. I'm not going to roll dice. I'm just going to pull a card just to change it up. Swoboda is running a 7. So between 5 and 7, I have to, let's see. Let's see what happens. It's a 2, and he is safe. Here's a throw, not in time. It's offline. So the Mets take a 2-1 lead on a sacrifice fly by Buddy Housen. Almost done, baby. All right, I'm stuffing my face. All right, so it's Delora, the pitcher. And we're going to bring in Gasparan. We're going to bring in Bobby File to pinch hit. Mets are up 2-1, bottom of the 8th. 1 out, runner on first, Otis. And, you know, Otis could have, I should have checked to see if he would tag up on that. On the play to the plate, because you know there was a play to the plate. You know he's tagging up on that. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, he tags up. 1, 2, 3, he tags up. 4, 5, 6, he does not. And he does. So great play by Otis. So we are going to replay that quickly. Just a fly ball center field sacrifice fly. And you know what? I'm going to have to actually undo that and do it a different way. Get fly ball center field. And runner on first base goes to second. So it's going to be a sac fly. Let me go out one more time. Let's see. Okay, this is tricky. Because if I go into detail, it doesn't give me the opportunity for a sac fly, from what I understand. Let me see. It's a fly ball to center field, and the runner goes to second, and the other. And let me see if it gives me a sacrifice fly. Let's see if it gives me credit for that. Let me just play around with it a little bit. Okay, so it does give me a sacrifice fly. Let me check the box score. Let me make sure I gave him a sacrifice fly in the box score. And it does. Wow. Outstanding. Okay, so I'm learning this a little bit better. PC replay. Amazing. Best game on the market. Just wish they had all the 80 seasons. So DeLauro we're going to get Bobby File to pinch hit. Jaster is still out there. I could bring somebody else in. Let me just bring a righty in already, because we do have two righties back to back. So let me bring a righty in, and that's going to be Shea is going to come in. Shea pitching at Shea. Steve Shea. And here goes. Runner on second base, 1 out. Bobby File, Mets are up 2-1, bottom of the 8th. And that's a 9:57. A 9 is in play. What did I do with File? Did I grab him? I don't think I did. Oh, there he is. I put him in the wrong spot. And a 57 on a ball that's in play off a righty is a fly ball right field. And we may be able to tag up on that. Rusty Stobbs out there. That is a short fly ball, so I'm not going to tag up. I do have modifiers. It's a 2-2 modifier. The arm improves by 2, and the runner is decreased by 2 when it's a short fly ball, to kind of represent that difference. But with 1 out, I'm not going to try it. If there was no outs, I'd try it, but I'm not going to risk it. There's just no reason to go through all that. He's still in scoring position from second base with 2 outs. So that's a fly to right. And here comes Tommy Agee. Agee's batting .295 with 19 home runs, 11 stolen bases. Here's a pitch from Shea. It's an 11 wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 80. And that's a deep fly ball, center field. Ty Klein on the run, on the track. And he makes the catch with his back up against the wall. Tommy Agee gave it a ride to deep left center field. But Ty Klein was there to haul it in. And we go to the top of the 9th. And Mets are going to bring in a new pitcher. And unfortunately for the Mets, all they have really right here. Oh, you know what? I got a guy named Frizella. Let me see if Frizella is a. I'd like to bring him in. Let's see if Frizella is a reliever. Ah, he's a short reliever. He pitched in 3 games. He's got a 7 ERA. Okay, so we're going to bring him in. We're going to let him pitch to 1 batter. See what happens. Hasn't been around the whole season. So Frizella, I don't really have anybody else. I could bring in Coons, and I will bring in Coons if Frizella allows a man to get on base. Let's see what happens. Let's have some fun. Danny Frizella against John Bateman. Here's a pitch. And that's a 7. That's a tough. And a tough 33 is strike 3. Danny Frizella blows a fastball by John Bateman. Holy smokes. The unlikeliest of heroes. Bobby Wine is up next. Coons is warming up in the bullpen. Whoa. Here's the pitch. And that's a 7 again and an 0-6. Strike 3. Bobby Wine back-to-back Ks. Danny Frizella coming through big time. 7.71 ERA. Gave up 8 hits in 4 innings pitched. His whole card is a disaster except for 6 and 7. And I rolled 7 twice. All right, so there's going to be a pinch hitter for the pitcher now, Shea. And let's see who we're going to bring in here. The Mets are 1 out away from a victory here, a 2-1 victory. But let's not count our eggs before they're fried. Let's see who we got here to pinch hit. Lefty. An ex-Met, Kevin Collins. Here he comes. Kevin Collins against a righty actually hit 2 home runs. He's got a wheelhouse of 1-22. So here's a pitch. Kevin Collins, 2 outs, top of the 9th. Mets are up 2-1. Tied for first place with the Pirates, so they need this victory. And that is a 3, and that is a patient 84, though. We rolled real high, so I think Danny Frizella got real lucky. And that is a ground ball to the second baseman, Weiss. He takes a tough hop, but Weiss bobbles it for a second, over to first. Ball game over. The Mets win it, and that was exciting. And I don't know what Gil Hodges was thinking, bringing in Danny Frizella, but guess what? 1, 2, 3, and he got them all out. And that's his second save in the season. Danny Frizella, hilarious. Oh, by the way, Frizella in the season has pitched 5 innings. So he shouldn't have pitched in this game. But he has an 8 ERA. In reality, he had a 7.71 ERA. So he almost has the same exact ERA as he did in real life. How funny is that? But he does pick up a save in this game. Jack DeLauro picks up the win. Larry Jaster, 1-6. DeLauro's 2-1. Jaster's 1-6. Gary Gentry, the MVP. Any standouts for the Mets? Duffy Dyer had 2 hits, raised his average to 387. Buddy Harrelson had 2 hits, batting 265. Gary Gentry lowered his ERA to 3.64. It went 7 innings, allowed 1 earned run. DeLauro, 2.31 ERA. His real-life ERA is 2.40. Frizella picked up his second save of the year, and I won't be using him anymore. I should have really checked that, but I had fun doing it anyway. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to move on to the Pittsburgh series now. But I want to replay. I want to quickly autoplay. I want to autoplay the Pittsburgh game to see if the Pirates win today. Because if the Pirates lose, the Mets will pick up a game on the Pirates, and they'll go into that weekend series, that 3-game series, up by 1 game. So let's see what happens. Let's okay. The Pirates are going to win it. Pirates are going to win it at Jarry Park in Montreal. They beat the Expos 8-2. So no, that happened at a different time. Hold on, let me find out where I am. Here I am. The Pirates haven't played yet. Okay, so I made a mistake. Let's autoplay the Pirates real quick. Pirates lose to the St. Louis Cardinals. Steve Carlton, 13-7. Bob Veal, 9-10. The MVP of that game is Steve Carlton. So the Mets are in first place, my friends, by 1 game. In first place by 1 game going into a weekend series with the Pirates. And guess who's pitching on Friday? Let's see. Is it Tom Terrific? It's Jerry the Koosman, number 36. On Saturday, it is Tom Terrific. So the best of the best is going. So Koosman is going to be facing Moose, 10-3. Koosman is 16-8. Then it's Seaver, 14-13, is facing Walker, who's 8-3. And then on Sunday, it's going to be Nolan Ryan, who's 9-0. It's going to be facing Steve Blass, who's 11-11. What a weekend series that's going to be. That's worth playing this whole season. Just this series alone. Mets are ahead by 1 game. This is CP Cards and Dice. And that's all I have for you tonight. Take care, guys. Let's go Mets.